All right, let's jump right into this explainer and shatter a massive assumption pretty much all of us make. We like to think that when it comes to our money, our investments, just our everyday choices, we act like perfectly logical, rational calculators. We weigh the pros and cons, run the numbers, and pick the absolute best option, right? Well, not exactly. The truth is, our brains are hardwired with these sneaky psychological shortcuts that completely hijack our inner logical calculator. Today, we're going to break down exactly how this happens, relying strictly on the fascinating research behind our economic choices.
So, put yourself in the hot seat for a second. Are you always rational? Have you ever bought something super flashy that you absolutely did not need, only to, regret it an hour later? Or maybe you grabbed a slightly more expensive grocery item just because the packaging kind of made it feel a little healthier. If you're nodding right now, don't worry, your brain was just playing tricks on you. You weren't being rational, you were just being human.
To really get why we do this, we have to look at behavioral economics. It's this incredibly powerful intersection where psychology meets economics. See, traditional economics assumes you're this perfectly rational actor, but behavioral economics, it looks at the messy, emotional reality of actual human behavior. That's the exact lens we're going to use today to expose the specific psychological biases that dictate your everyday actions.
Here's our roadmap for navigating this mental house of mirrors. We'll start with the rationality illusion, then look at the pain of loss, the power of framing, anchors and judgments, and finally wrap up with nudging better choices.
Okay, part 1. The rationality illusion and the myth of the logical calculator. The core problem here is that our emotions and inherent biases frequently override our logic. We aren't just making simple math errors, we're making highly predictable psychological missteps. Moving to section 2, the pain of loss and why losing hurts so much more. Let's unpack our first major cognitive trap. Imagine you're just walking down the street and you look down and see a crisp $20 bill on the sidewalk. You pick it up, you feel that little spark of joy, right? It's a great feeling. Now, imagine a totally different scenario. You reach into your pocket to pay for lunch and you realize you've lost a $20 bill. I want you to really feel that intense sting, the frustration, the absolute annoyance. According to behavioral economics, the psychological pain you feel from losing that $20 is actually way stronger than the mild joy of finding it. Even though the math is literally identical, it's $20 either way, our brains are wired with what's called loss aversion. The pain of a loss drastically outweighs the pleasure of an equivalent gain.
And you guessed it, businesses absolutely weaponize this bias against us. Think about phrases like free trials and money-back guarantees. They are literally everywhere. Why? Because marketers understand loss aversion perfectly. When you're thinking about buying something new, your brain instantly calculates the risk of losing your hard-earned cash if the product turns out to be junk. A free trial completely neutralizes that perceived risk of loss. It makes you feel like you've got absolutely nothing to lose, effectively short-circuiting your natural loss aversion, so you just go ahead and confidently hand over your credit card.
Section 3. The power of framing and how choices are presented. Because how information is packaged can completely manipulate our perception of its actual value.
Just think about these two options. Yogurt A is labeled 50% fat. Yogurt B is labeled 50% fat-free. Factually, logically, mathematically, these are the exact same product. But be honest with yourself for a second. Which one sounds healthier? Which one are you realistically tossing into your grocery cart? For the vast majority of us, it's yogurt B. No contest. The words fat-free instantly trick our brains into thinking it's the better, healthier choice. The facts didn't change at all, only the frame around them did.
Let's look at how this plays out with actual cash. Imagine two pricing strategies for a bundled service. Option A is just a straightforward monthly fee of $50. Option B is a monthly fee of $60, but you get a $10 credit back every single month if you pay on time. Assuming you actually pay on time, the math is exactly the same, $50 out of your pocket. Yet the data shows that option B consistently drives way more signups. Why on earth would that happen? It's because we hyper-focus on that framed gain of the $10 credit. The framing basically manipulates our perception, making option B feel like a reward rather than just a flat price tag.
And here's maybe the biggest retail trick in the book. Buy one, get one free, versus 50% off if you buy two. Let's say a shirt is $20. Under the first offer, you pay $20 and get 2 shirts. Under the second offer, the shirts are essentially $10 each, but you have to buy 2. So again, you pay $20 and get 2 shirts. It is literally the same total cost and the same quantity of shirts. However, most people irrationally perceive the buy one get one free phrasing as a phenomenally better deal. That one magical word, free, acts as a massive distortion to our logic. All right, Section 4, Anchors and Judgments, and the sheer danger of the first number. It's wild how an irrelevant piece of initial information can completely skew everything that follows.
Put yourself on a car dealership lot for just a second. You walk up to a car, and the salesperson immediately hits you with a massive, artificially high price tag. $50,000. Boom. That number is now completely stuck in your head. In behavioral economics, this is what we call an anchor. It's that initial piece of information that drops down and sets the absolute baseline for your brain's valuation of that car, totally regardless of what the thing is actually worth.
And because of that initial anchor, we fall right into the discount illusion. Once that $50,000 anchor is set, the salesperson does the whole routine, goes to their manager, and comes back offering you a special discount of $42,000. Suddenly, $42,000 feels incredibly reasonable. It feels like a massive win. But wait, what if the true market value of that car is actually only $35,000? You're still drastically overpaying, but your brain is completely blind to it. Why? Because you're judging the $42,000 strictly against that artificial $50,000 anchor. It makes you feel like a master negotiator, even while you were getting taken for a ride.
Finally, Section 5, Nudging Better Choices Through Choice Architecture. Let's pivot away from how businesses trick us and look at how systems can actually use these exact same concepts to gently guide us toward positive outcomes.
Take a super subtle nudge, like a sign that just says 9 out of 10 people recycle. That simple message leverages our deep psychological desire to conform to social norms, and it significantly boosts recycling rates without passing a single mandate. Or think about a cafeteria. If you place the healthy food right at eye level as the default option and move the junk food to the back, you aren't forcing anyone to eat a salad, but by simply changing the choice architecture, you align the environment with natural human behavior to effortlessly promote better decisions.
And honestly, nowhere is this clearer than with retirement savings. Historically, companies used opt-in enrollment, meaning you had to actively fill out a form to start saving. And guess what? Participation was terribly low, mostly because of human inertia and, let's face it, procrastination. But when companies simply flipped the script to an opt-out system, where you were automatically enrolled unless you actively fill out a form to stop it, participation naturally skyrocketed. The underlying financial reality didn't change one bit, but making the beneficial choice the default is an incredibly powerful nudge that effortlessly overrides our natural laziness.
So what does this all mean for us? Well, we need to take everything we've covered today and use it to become much smarter economic agents. It starts by recognizing your own mental shortcuts. You got to actively remember that loss aversion makes you fear risk way out of proportion, and that clever framing can make you perceive value where there literally is none. By becoming aware of the anchors getting dropped around you and the nudges guiding your environment, you instantly become a much more critical consumer. You empower yourself to step back from that gut emotional response and really engage your logical brain.
To wrap things up, I want to leave you with a really simple but powerful tool. The next time you're about to pull out your wallet, sign a contract, or make any significant financial choice, I want you to pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself this exact question. Is my brain playing tricks on me? Am I falling for the framing? Am I anchored to a bad number? Am I avoiding a perfectly logical choice just because I'm afraid of a tiny loss? Seriously, questioning your own rationality is the very first step toward actually achieving it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning those choices in front of you.